Rock. Thank you so much for joining me. How are you this evening? Wonderful to hear. Great to hear. On the top of the list, I am negative. Results came back real fast Saturday morning. I knew I was negative, so I'm glad the testing's going really quick. For those that missed the earlier episode, I went and my temperature's been high, so I went and got tested just to see what's going on. Temperature's still bouncing a little, not normal. So anyway, I tested negative. So good on that one. Second of all, I spent the weekend making book covers and book covers and book covers. I made book covers for VNA Shipping 3, coming soon. For GRPC 2, coming soon. Almost Superheroes 1 and 2. And VNA Shipping 4. Ooh, because I know where VNA Shipping 4 is going. And I started working on the cover for Almost Superheroes 3, but I was looking for something I couldn't find to use on the image, so I may need to create it. It's going to be a challenge because of what I'm trying to do and what I want to make. So I'm going to have to make something on my own. I will figure it out. Maybe I can mix something together and work with that. We'll see. It'll be interesting. Anyway, book covers, tested negative, all is well. If you watched the video I shared yesterday, the I'm Defective video, the band Defective, 92 to 94 was when we played. And I believe the gigs that were in that video were from 93 and 94. We had somebody at times that would record audio for us. I believe Byron, who I tagged on Facebook, if you go check that out, Byron might have some audio. I know we went to SDSU because one of Byron's friends, we called him BJ at the time, worked in the SDSU doing audio work, and he needed to record a band. So we went in there. He made a 4-song demo for us. Hopefully Byron's got that, because that would be really cool to hear that audio and listen to it back. I would love to hear that. Finding that video was fascinating. Brought back a lot of memories of that time in a band. Being young and headstrong, we butted heads a lot. That's why the band wound up breaking up. It was just, I don't know, trying to get everyone to agree on practice times, agree on set lists was a challenge, but we had fun. We had a good time. You can see it in the video. When we got on stage, we usually had a really good time. The first part of the video, the first 4 of the 5 songs, 5 songs in 11 minutes. That's punk. The first 4 songs were recorded at a club called Dream Street that I don't believe exists anymore in San Diego. I'll need to look that up. The other one was actually in the original version of Soma, which was downtown. We played the basement of Soma in downtown in 94. The first act, I honestly can't recall the name. We've got a flyer somewhere. Byron said he has a flyer. Would love to see who else was on there. But the first band, I don't recall. Then we played. Then Cranial Vacancy played. They were a fun band. Had a lot of fun watching them. I mean, just the lead singer was, he was out there. I guess the lead singer's father had a studio, an actual recording studio video where they would broadcast from, and they would do that on public access television back in the day, literally broadcasting on the airwaves, on broadcast on public television. That was fascinating. Got to see them a couple of times. I wish I could find some of their videos, because they were a great crew. And the 4th band that played in the basement that evening was Blink. Blink might sound familiar to you. That's what they were called back in the day. Back then, they were all, if I remember, they were all still in high school. They were doing the same thing that we were doing, but they were getting a lot more gigs than we were. They were the college scene, house parties, people's backyards, anywhere you could play, that's where they would play. We tried doing the same thing. It was hard to get out there and get people to notice you and recognize you. But we did play several college parties. We were freaking loud. We would play so loud people would end up leaving and go stand outside. If we were outside, people would go inside because we were just so there needed to be a temporary mosh pit, but it was just this wall of sound because we didn't have monitors. So we would put our amps in front of us and play behind them, and we'd crank it up because we couldn't hear it. You know, things you learn over time. At any rate, that fourth band, before I get to that, on the upstairs stage, two more bands were playing, and it was Sprung Monkey and Lucy's Fur Coat. They had both just gotten back from a European tour and were back in San Diego for their They Were Done tour type of thing. Lucy's Fur Coat was splitting up. I don't know exactly what was going on with the band at the time. I knew little about them, but amazing show they put on. Sprung Monkey, again, incredible show they put on. Sprung Monkey, if you know of them, they did wind up sticking together. I don't believe they're still together at this time. There's only one band that's still together from that entire evening that I know about, and that's Blink, who is now Blink 182. Yeah. So back in the day, my band, Defective, opened for Blink 182. How cool is that? Those are the kind of fun stories I've got from back in the day, but that was probably the biggest gig we played at the time, and that was our last gig. I had pretty much determined that I wanted to write songs. I wanted to play different types of songs than just the, fast 2-minute, 2.5 minute punk songs that we're playing. Just I mean, I wanted to do more melodic, more changes, longer songs. Something. I wanted to play more metal than I wanted to play punk. Punk was fun to play. I loved playing the Ramones, loved playing the Misfits, loved doing all that. Had a great time, but I wanted to play more complex music than what we were playing. At the time, I was young. I was still learning the bass. I'd pick it up every day and just fiddle around. I would go buy a book or a magazine and try and figure out songs. I wasn't that good. I wasn't that good at all. I'm far better now at playing bass than I ever was back then. And it's because of the internet. The internet allows me to look things up and follow along a lot easier. Take lessons online, just watching videos and doing lessons and learning scales and learning runs, learning simple little fills, learning walking bass lines, that type of thing. I'm having a blast still learning the bass. But back then it was very hard to find that, and we were dead broke. I mean, dead broke. So to go and spend $5 on a bass player magazine or a lesson book, that was money. That was food money. That was money we didn't have. That was coming out of our pocket from somewhere. At the time, for a while, we didn't even have a phone in our house because we were so broke. We were eating Top Ramen just to get by because it was 10 cents a packet. And you know what? When your meal's 20 cents, you can buy a lot of ramen. And we bought a lot of ramen. I want to say it was almost a year we lived off of Top Ramen and little else. At any rate, that's the story about how Defective opened for Blink 182 once upon a time. Again, if you didn't catch the video, go back and check it. It was a lot of fun finding that video. I was actually doing some digital cleanup as I was working on book covers, and I saw a folder because I remember Sean, who's in the video, he's the guitar player who's completely losing his mind. He had given me a copy of it quite some time ago, and I said, dude, we got to get this up on YouTube, get this up there for people to see. And I'd forgotten where I'd put it, on which thumb drive I had it. I was searching my hard drive. I'd built a new computer. I couldn't find it. I didn't even remember what it was called. And finally, I saw a folder labeled Defective, and I'm like, no. Sure enough, that was it. So, fortunately, now that I'm working on doing YouTube videos, I was able to get in there. The video was actually recorded on a cassette tape, on a videotape, that had something else on it, some infomercial that ran for almost 45 minutes. So there was a little under 15 minutes of us playing, and then 45 minutes of some infomercial. no idea what was going on with that. But hey, you know what? Back in the day, you used to just put a videotape in and hit record on something, or you would set the timer and forget to change the clock on the VCR, and it would record something you didn't know what you're getting. Might have been we were trying to record, actually, now that I think about it, we might have been trying to record that public access channel where Cranial Vacancy would play, because there would be other bands on there too, but Cranial Vacancy played quite regularly. They'd play 1 or 2 songs a week on there, so it was interesting. At any rate, this has been 5 A Day with Jay. I've been Jay. You've been awesome. Until next time.